Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Divorce Magazine. My name is Soila. I'm the founder of the Divorce Magazine, and I'm a child therapist as well. And today we have Austin Chessel, who will be telling us about the top 10 divorce myths and the questions that go with that. Austin, do you want to tell us a little bit more about you?
Good morning.
Morning.
I am Austin Chessel, a collaborative family solicitor based at Felton Solicitors in Knightsbridge. I'm also a family mediator for Famia across Inner and Greater London.
Okay. And so we're going to look at the top 10 divorce myths, and I have them, so I'll be reading one after the other, and you can tell us a little bit more about them. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is prenup agreements are only for clients who are high net worth.
For me, that's a myth because from my experience, whether you're high net worth or not high net worth, they're becoming more and more popular. So it's not just for one type of wealth of clients.
Yeah, I think people kind of worry that it's expensive to get one done.
Mm-hmm.
Also, is it expensive to get one done?
It depends on the complexity of the agreement.
Okay.
So normally you would have a consultation with a solicitor who can take the background, and then once they know how tricky it's going to be, they can give you a costing.
All right.
I mean, what I normally do is I provide the client with a quote, say would it include maybe 3 sets of amendments,
Mm-hmm.
and then if there are more than 3 sets of amendments, you can then give a new quote, or at least the client knows if it doesn't get prepared within that 3 sets of amendments, there's going to be an extra cost.
Okay, all right. That's number one. Number two, can my divorce be completed in less than a month?
You read a lot about it in the press that celebrity divorces get done overnight, but in my experience, it's going to take you 3 to 4 months. As a petitioner, you have 3 sets of forms to complete. The respondent 1 set of forms if it's uncontested. So normally you're looking 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
If you involve a process server, if the respondent is not completing the acknowledgement of service, you add in an extra step, so another month. So you're probably looking between 3 to 4 months normally, but it could be between 5 to 6 months if there's a slight delay.
Okay.
Also, depending on how quickly the court process the documents, that's out of your control when the papers go into court.
Okay. Can I ask you about this quickie divorce thing that you read about as well? Is that something you know about?
When you read about quickie divorce, there's not just a divorce, there's also the finances of how that's going to be split and where the children will live. Yeah. So it may be that on those elements of how they're going to divide the assets or where the children will live, they've agreed that in a day.
Okay.
That still needs to be documented, but the financial agreement cannot be lodged at the court until you're halfway through the divorce.
Right.
So it may be they've agreed things in a day, but the actual process is a lot longer for the divorce.
Okay.
And then you have to wait a certain time before the documents can be lodged at court.
Okay, all right. It sounds like there's a part where you don't have control over the time of what happens. You do what you can and then you wait for something.
Like when you get to the midway point of the divorce, the decree nisi, you have to wait 6 weeks and a day before finalising it.
That's true.
Because the court likes to give couples a cooling off period, because there have been occasions where couples do reconcile.
Okay.
So they don't want to give couples that time to reflect.
Okay, all right. Divorce myth number 3. If we get divorced, will the court force me to sell my business?
I don't think the court would. Every case is different, but normally the court wants the business to continue because that's what's producing the income. If the business is obviously a successful business, it may be one party is seeing they want a lump sum paid out of that business. You may pay a lump sum out to the other person in order to achieve a settlement, but the court normally understands that that business has to keep going because it's producing an income.
Okay, all right. And number 4, when trying to sort out a divorce, will I get a better settlement if I'm aggressive and positional with what I am seeking?
Every client has their own priorities, but from my experience, being aggressive and positional can result in the case going on to a final hearing, which can run up a big legal bill for both of you.
Yeah.
If you're intelligent about it and you can take the emotional side out of it, which I know is difficult during a separation, go to mediation. You can agree it for hundreds of pounds rather than tens of thousands of pounds, and then you've got more after the separation, because normally when you separate, your budgets are squeezed anyway because you're going to have more outgoings. So if you can resolve it in a calm, intelligent way, through mediation rather than going to a final hearing being very positional, it's going to benefit both of you and the children.
And I think I remember with my first divorce, the solicitors that I had were actually pretty good at calming me down, because of course I was on fire and I was angry and I wanted to kill everybody if I could, but they were really good at just bringing me back to what the problem was or what we need to focus on, so I could be, and then they would be like, okay, so now from here what do we do? So which was really good. So I think also the solicitor that you have can actually matter a lot in how aggressive you can be and remain.
And also, the solicitor is not trained to be your counsellor. They're only there to give the legal advice. So if it is a case where the client is very emotional, I may suggest that have they considered seeing a counsellor? And then if the client feels that will help, then it may just help to calm them down. And then once they've got a clearer head, they can negotiate with the other person.
Yeah, okay. So that's now we are on number 5, I think. So am I automatically entitled to spousal maintenance?
You're not automatically entitled to spousal maintenance, and if you couldn't agree spousal maintenance, the matter may have to go to court. You would need to evidence to court that you need spousal maintenance, but at the same time, you can't just say you need it, and if the other person can't pay it, you need to evidence that the other person has got over and above the means to pay this spousal maintenance. You also would need to determine, is this spousal maintenance going to be for a fixed period or is it going to be forever?
Okay.
So there's different types of spousal maintenance. Every case is different. But until you've both shown each other your financial disclosure, it's hard to determine if there should be spousal maintenance or not.
All right, okay. We're going to go into part 2, Austin.
Okay.
So follow us for the next 5, I think, divorce myths. Okay.